Hi, my name is Borys, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make tracks in the style of Keinemusik or Afro House. We are going to be reconstructing a chart-topping track called Move by Adam Port and Stryv. I'll show you techniques of achieving this organic, groovy sound, and after today's tutorial you should be able to easily make tracks in this style. In the description you'll find a free download with the project file and the samples that we're using if you'd like to follow along with the tutorial. The project can be opened with Ableton 11.1, even though we're using Ableton 12 here. Before we get into the video, if you like what we are doing on this channel, make sure to subscribe. We've got more content on music production on Ableton coming up. And if you're more of a beginner and you'd like to learn Ableton 12 with all the foundations of music production, check out our Beginner to Advanced Live 12 Start to Finish course. For more Afro House sounds, check out our brand new Afro House sound pack. All of today's drums actually come from it. The pack includes loops, one-shot samples, synth presets, project files, and even MIDIs. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so let's play what we're going to be making today. Here we have just the kick drum loaded up on the first track. All I'm going to do is just create a blank MIDI clip, add a 4 to the floor pattern, and we are going to be looping this over 8 bars here, like this. The groove here comes from the interplay of the kick drum and some claps. And here we have the kick drum. I'm just viewing both clips at once. Let's add the typical Afro House drum pattern. This sort of pattern is also very widely used in reggaeton, but yeah, the only change is that we're going to be placing this note here, so sounds like this now. And we can take all of these notes, maybe just work on the claps, and we can copy them over like this. And now this clap is exactly the same as this one, only this one has a bit longer release, so I'm going to be placing this one here. Yeah, and to add a bit more human feel, we can do a few things. First of all, we can add strum. So go into the transformation tools, select strum, and maybe let's do this. And we can also move in the middle like this. And this makes it sound a bit more human. What we can also do is, of course, randomize the velocities a bit, maybe like this. Maybe we can take these a bit down. Sounds good enough to me. The processing on these claps, pretty simple. Here we're just boosting some low end. Here no processing actually. Also no processing on these, just different release. And yeah, we're putting some slight reverb on top of it and shaping it a bit with the transient designer here in drum bass. But we can just extend this onto our 8 bars. Let's proceed on to the next track. Let's take a top loop sample. This top loop sample is at 122 BPM, so we can change the BPM of our project to this one so that it's warped correctly from the start. We can press warp on it and go back to our tempo, 120. And by the way, this is the really good tempo for Afro House, so make sure you stick to this tempo right here, 120 BPM or around this area. Let's hear it now. We have a sidechain compressor on it. Very simple, just sidechaining to the kick drum. We can just also quantize this pattern, as we're not going to be using the groove pool in this project. We can even loop this area and extend it over. Here's what we have now. By the way, on the master, we have just glue compressor. So instead of limiting, we're using a bit of soft clipping here. It's giving us minus half dB of headroom and just a bit of a different flavor than limiting. Let's write the chord progression now. So I'm going to be adding a 4-bar MIDI pattern, and the piano we have is a nice Live 12 piano, but you can also use, of course, a piano from Live 11 with no issues. So let's try to write the chord progression pattern. We're going to be in B major, and then we'll transpose the progression a bit. Okay, so C major, we can press the scale button. We're just left with white keys. Maybe let's make the velocity section a bit smaller. We are going to be having a 2-4-6-5 progression. So if C is our 1, D is the 2, now the 4 is going to be the F, Now the 6 is going to be the A and then back to G. And what we can do now is also add an interval. So we're going to be adding 2 scale degrees, and we can do that once again, and let's listen. By the way, we have quite a bit of reverb here on top of this piano, and this progression is so nice because we are not resolving to C at any point. We're using the 2nd degree building on top of this 4th, 6th and 5th, and because we are not playing the C major chord, we are never really giving the listener this full sense of resolution, so this chord progression is always driving the track forward. What we could also do is take this F, also transpose it up an octave. We can take this F and also do this, so we have a leading note here. And we can also take the bass notes and copy them below over here. Without this D note over here. And also what we can do now is randomize the velocities a bit. Maybe these 2 leading notes can be quite subtle. So we've randomized the velocities a bit. What we can also do is add a bit of strum, so maybe just 1 over here, a bit of humanize. Yeah, so we're not playing the chord progression all very robotically. What we can do now is transpose this chord progression 1 semitone. And this is now going to be the B major scale. If this one is looped, we can extend it over and copy it over onto the 2nd track, which is a synth harp sort of sampled instrument in live. I'm just going to put this up an octave, remove some of the leading notes and the bass notes. Let's play it together. We don't have anything on the group, and sound design wise, we're just adding quite a bit of reverb on both these tracks, doing a bit of EQ processing and then sidechain compression on each of the tracks. Now let's add a bass, and we have a nice bass prepared here. So sound design wise, here's the dry patch. We're boosting some of the bass frequencies quite aggressively, but then limiting so that we're keeping the constant gain. And that's because it fluctuates quite in gain when you have detune on. The synth is mono, so we don't need to worry about mono compatibility here. Adding some sidechain compression on top and just boosting the gain slightly. I'm just going to take this chord progression, just leave the bass notes, let's play it. I'm going to quantize, so Ctrl A and Ctrl U. Let's just do this, so leaving a bit of empty space at the beginning of each bar. And just putting this an octave down. Let's move on to the next element, and it's going to be the melody. Here's our patch. So we have quite a simple analog Pluck, once again a saw wave, and we have some echo on top of it. Some really nice analog sounding. Here's the dry channel, and here on the wet channel we have a bit of ducking enabled, so we are not actually affecting the sound when the Pluck is playing, but after this is giving it a nice warm tail. Dotted 8th notes here, a bit of transient design with the drum bass and a bit of EQing just to boost some frequencies to make it stand out a bit in the mix. Just reverb, sidechain compression on top of it. Let's write the melody. We are in B major. The safest note here is the B note, so let's play it. Maybe the B3 note here. We're going to go down 1 step and back. Repeat this, and this is going to be our A pattern, and the B pattern or the response is going to be here. Just very simple, like this. And looping back. Maybe we can boost the gain a bit. Can also extend this and proceed on to the last element, which is going to be the morphing glass. We are just going to be adding this sound in the background. So we have layered sampled ceramic tiles preset from Ableton. This is just recorded ceramics, tonal ceramics, and then we have an analog device with quite a bit of high pass and lots of reverb here. So both of these sound like this. And we're going to be playing the D sharp note. In 8 notes, let's hear it. Yeah, it's quite in the background. You could ask why D sharp exactly. The D sharp is a nice note here because it plays nicely with our chord progression. If we view both of these at the same time, you can see that if we skip over one note, we always add extensions even above our chord. And here it forms a 9, here it forms a 7, here it's the 5th, and here it is the 6th with our chord. So it's a really nice tension adding and extension sort of drony sound in the background, which I really like. And yeah, let's play everything together now. Alright, I think we have it. The links to the sounds used and the project file will be in the description. For more Afro House sounds, check out our Afro House sound pack with loops, one-shots, project files, and synth presets. Make sure to check out our Music Production Academy with start-to-finish courses on making tracks in various genres. And if you'd like to learn Ableton 12 with all the foundations of music production, check out our Beginner to Advanced Live 12 start-to-finish course. All links you will find in the description. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell. If you enjoyed this video, leave us a like, write a comment, and I will see you in the next ones.